Get ready for the action, because we are diving straight into the wrestling world with a massive thought from WWE ho-fer Kevin Nash. Nash has revealed his candid thoughts after his conversation with John Cena about his future in the ring, and he absolutely believes that John Cena would return to WWE if they offered him the right price. We break down exactly what Kevin Nash said about John Cena's potential comeback and why he thinks a huge payday would get that legend back in the squared circle.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALAN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we are looking at a truly surreal moment from WWE history involving John Cena and Giovanni Vinci. Vinci opened up about the unforgettable tag team match he had 3 years ago in India against John Cena and Seth Rollins, describing the atmosphere as vibrating and the experience as feeling like wearing virtual reality. Find out the incredible, almost unbelievable story behind that chaotic and memorable encounter between Vinci, Kaiser, Cena, and Rollins. We continue our deep dive into these major wrestling stories with more insights from Giovanni Vinci regarding that incredible match with John Cena. Vinci detailed how that entire contest felt improvised, with Cena calling many of his matches with little preparation beforehand. We explore the behind-the-scenes reality of that high-stakes moment and what it reveals about John Cena's approach to the ring. And finally, we wrap up this explosive broadcast by looking at the fallout for Giovanni Vinci after that run. We discuss the end of his time with Imperium and his short-lived singles career following that major event. Don't miss any of the major wrestling headlines, and make sure you subscribe to our free newsletter for the biggest stories straight to your inbox. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash has offered a provocative take on John Cena's potential return to professional wrestling, suggesting that Cena would return if offered the right financial incentive. The comments come in the context of Cena's retirement last December, following a memorable moment where he submitted to Gunther in a sleeper hold, showcasing a smirk that shocked the audience. Speaking on Click This, Nash recounted a private conversation with Cena regarding the finish of his match. Nash highlighted Cena's stated desire to be the first character on an episodic television show, to be the good guy who is killed off while smiling, indicating a deep-seated commitment to his persona. Nash interpreted Cena's remarks about never returning to the ring as an acknowledgement that the WWE would recognize the value of his presence. Nash stated, "They know what that check would be and they'll never write that check. If they gave me G 30 million to come back next year, I'm sure he'd be in the ring." Following his retirement, John Cena has taken on the role of an ambassador for WWE and was recently slated to host WrestleMania this year. His next scheduled appearance is set for Saturday, May 9, coinciding with the Backlash event, where he has reportedly planned something epic for Club WWE. WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash has expressed a belief that John Cena would return to professional wrestling if offered the right financial incentive. Nash discussed the final moments of Cena's retirement, recalling a one-on-one conversation with the former WWE star during a segment on Click This. Nash reflected on Cena's reaction to his submission loss to Gunther at Saturday night's main event last December, where Cena showed a smirk while tapping out for the first time in 20 years. Nash highlighted Cena's stated desire to never return to the ring, but suggested that a significant financial offer would change that stance. Nash stated, "If they gave me G 30 million to come back next year, I'm sure he'd be in the ring." Nash recounted Cena's reasoning for his on-screen persona, noting that Cena had expressed a desire to be the first good guy character on episodic television who was killed off while smiling, indicating an understanding that his return would be a calculated move. Following his retirement, John Cena has taken on an ambassador role for WWE and is scheduled for his next appearance on Saturday, May 9, during the Backlash event, where he has planned an epic performance for Club WWE. Giovanni Vinci recently reflected on a surreal tag team match he participated in 3 years ago during a WWE live event tour in India. At the time, Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium were set to face John Cena and Seth Rollins in a tag team bout, with Imperium slated to main event the show and stand toe-to-toe with Cena. In a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet on the show Insight, Vinci shared his experience wrestling the 17-time world champion. Vinci described the moment as incredibly surreal, noting that the announcement of Cena's presence in India was last minute and the event felt somewhat thrown together. He vividly recalled the atmosphere, stating, "It was the loudest reaction I've ever heard in my life. Like that building or the floor was vibrating. It was shaking when we were standing there. He did his entrance, and then it's almost like you wear a real-life VR, those virtual reality things." Vinci added that despite maintaining professionalism, there was an undeniable excitement, describing the feeling as, "Okay, wrestling John Cena now. Crazy moment. Like, obviously you want to still be professional like 99%, but that 1% in the back of your mind is like, oh, this is cool." The match itself was characterized by improvisation, as Vinci mentioned that Cena had a history of having less preparation for his matches, and the contest against Imperium was similarly improvised. Vinci's tenure with WWE concluded in February 2025 after he was released from Imperium and experienced a brief singles run. Giovanni Vinci recently reflected on a surreal tag team match he participated in 3 years ago during a WWE live event tour in India. At the time, Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser of Imperium were slated to face John Cena and Seth Rollins in tag team action, with Imperium positioned to main event the show and stand toe-to-toe with Cena. In a recent interview with Chris Van Vliet on the program Insight, Vinci shared the unique experience of wrestling the 17-time world champion. Vinci described the moment as incredibly surreal, noting that the announcement of Cena's appearance in India was last minute and somewhat impromptu. He recounted the intense reaction from the audience, stating that the building or floor was vibrating during the match. Vinci likened the experience to wearing a real-life virtual reality, describing the moment as, "He gets the tag and I get the tag. I'm like, okay, wrestling John Cena now. Crazy moment. Like, obviously you want to still be professional like 99%, but that 1% in the back of your mind is like, oh, this is cool." Vinci further commented that the contest was largely improvised, echoing Cena's known preference for matches with little prior preparation. The article notes that Vinci was released from WWE in February 2025 after parting ways with Imperium and embarking on a brief singles run.